Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome. All colleagues. Wesley. Hello. Welcome, Wesley. Hello, my name is Ben Coleman, and I'm Deputy Leader of the Council. I'm chairing this meeting because I'm afraid Steve Cowan, the Leader of the Council, has a cold and isn't able to be with us. And so welcome to our Cabinet meeting. I've just got a few housekeeping points, if I may, just to run through first. There are no fire alarms scheduled for tonight. So if the fire alarm sounds, I'll halt the meeting. And then please go to the lift lobby and down the stairs and wait at the assembly point, which is in Shortlands Road. And lavatories are located in the lift lobby. So I'd like to confirm the members of the Cabinet who are present and will be voting. So please indicate when I call your name using your microphones. So first of all, we've got the Cabinet Member for Children Education, Councillor Alexanderson.
Present.
Cabinet Member for Civic Renewal, that's Councillor Borikwan. We have an apology, sir. Oh, she's apologies from her. She has COVID. Dear, that's a shame. Cabinet Member for Climate Change and Ecology, Councillor Wesley Harcourt.
Present and correct.
Thank you very much. We have apologies from Councillor Jones, Cabinet Member for the Economy. Cabinet Member for Finance and Reform, Councillor Rowan Ree.
I'm with you in spirit.
Thank you very much. And we can see your face, which is always good. Cabinet Member for Housing and Homelessness, Councillor Francis Ume.
Present.
Thank you. Cabinet Member for Public Realm, Councillor Sharon Holder.
Present.
And Cabinet Member for Social Inclusion and Community Safety, Councillor Rebecca Harvey.
Present.
Thank you very much. Also present are ex officio members who won't be voting. And we have, I'm just checking around the room. We have others there. No, that's fine. Yeah, just checking if okay. And amongst the officers in attendance with us today, we have Sharon Lee, who is the Interim Chief Executive. Good evening. And we have Grant Degg, who is the Assistant Director of Legal Services. Welcome. And any officers or members of the opposition present at the meeting, of course, will need to introduce themselves if they're speaking. So the first thing to look at is the minutes of the Cabinet meeting held on the 7th of November 2022. Are the minutes agreed? Agreed. Thank you. And tonight, I should say, are there any apologies for absence? Well, we've already noted Councillor Jones and Councillor Kwan. And Councillor Cowan, of course, because he's ill, unfortunately. Yeah. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest anyone wishes to make? No. Good. That brings us to the reports that we're looking at tonight. The first one is the procurement strategy for major refurbishment projects forming part of the Housing Capital Programme for 2022-23 to 2025-26. Councillor Ume, would you like to introduce this?
Thank you very much, Deputy Leader. So this aims to appoint contractors to refurbish homes across 22 schemes across the borough. So there's a need to invest in the council's housing stock, which has been underinvested in, and this investment will see the major refurbishment across the 22 schemes. It will involve, for example, insulation improvements, window replacements, as well as structural works. This work will also seek to help progress the council's ambitions to make homes energy efficient and will also comply with fire and building safety standards.
Are the recommendations in the report? No. Yes, of course. Any questions? Yes. Would you like to introduce yourself? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course I will.
Thank you.
I'm Councillor Johnny Orford. I'm the opposition spokesman for housing. While I know that this is just a technical report, I would just make one point about my beloved Chasemore and Donnelly Court. Doesn't look as if they're getting such a good deal as most of the other blocks. Nothing about replacement windows or anything. And as I've raised this in Cabinet before, as I'm sure you'll remember, these two blocks are lost because they're in the middle of the redevelopment of Lannoy and Hartop, and they're constantly neglected. So I do hope that when you're doing this procurement and looking at what you're providing for Lannoy and for Chasemore and Donnelly, you look into it fully to make sure, because they do suffer from lack of insulation, and a cosmetic dust up isn't going to be the answer. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Ume. Would you like?
So I would not describe the works as a cosmetic dust up, but as the report outlines, the schemes have been listed in this report report based on housing stock condition survey. In addition to that, information that's already known about the housing stock, which has been combined to provide an overview of what's actually needed to happen to improve the quality of the homes for residents. So we all know these homes have been severely underinvested in over many, many years prior to this administration, and obviously with a lack of funding coming from central government. So as you can see from the report, the work listed for these properties show that there will be that investment and that these properties will not be lost. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Ume. Good. So are the recommendations in the report therefore noted and agreed? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So that brings us to the next report, which is the Planning Obligations Drawdown Report for 2021-22. And I'm going to ask Councillor Ree if you could introduce that, please.
Thank you very much, Councillor Coleman. I'm sorry Councillor Jones isn't there this evening, but I'm very pleased that this means that I get the chance to introduce this report. So I think this report shows the difference that the Labour Party has made in administration here in Hammersmith and Fulham. So thanks to the hard-nosed approach taken by councillors and officers when it comes to negotiation with property developers, we've been able to secure an extra £17.5 million in Section 106 payments and community infrastructure levy payments, which can then be spent on our residents and in our borough. So this report shows where this money has been spent. It's additional money for community safety, for affordable housing, for community facilities, for economic development, for parks, for schools, for economic development, for all sorts of things that we wouldn't otherwise have had the money for if it hadn't been for the approach that we'd taken in negotiating with property developers. So I'm very pleased to introduce this report, and I hope the Cabinet will accept the recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ree. Are the recommendations in the report agreed?
Councillor
Did you want to,
Coleman.
I'm so sorry. Thank you for coming
Once
in.
again, it'll be a short.
No, you're very
brief.
welcome.
I'm a little concerned. I'm all in favour of the affordable housing. That's not it. We seem to have got slightly muddled because Lannoy and Hartop is on Pellant Road. And I don't think there's anywhere else on Pellant Road you can develop. So you're talking about spending money on Lannoy and Hartop, which is excellent. But then you suddenly talk about the Pellant Road. Well, and from the pictures you've given, you're implying it's two different developments. It's the same bit. It's the same development, which I do think is misleading in this report.
So you think that it would be sufficiently misleading that people would do the wrong thing if they relied on this report?
Well, let's just put it this way. I think people could get confused.
I can see there's some confusion here, certainly. Councillor Ree?
Yeah, I'm not really sure there's a great deal to add. I think that this is obviously a development that's going to involve the various aspects to the development, and I think the report covers that fully.
I would just make back that if you read it, you appear to be talking, and from your pictures, got lovely pictures, are two different developments. It's the same scheme. And I think it would be better if it was clarified.
I appreciate that and certainly take that point on board. Thank you. Good. Any other comments? Otherwise, are the recommendations in the report agreed? Thank you. So that brings us to the next report, which is the Annual Emergency Planning and Business Continuity Report. And Councillor Harvey, would you like to introduce that?
Sorry. The report provides an overview of the activities over the previous year and the work for the forthcoming year. So the recommendations to note the report.
Are there any comments on the report? No. Are the recommendations in the report noted? Good. Thank you very much. That brings us to the report on home care and independent living, on improving the quality of support we offer residents at home. That's a report I'm bringing forward in my capacity as Cabinet Member for Health and Social Care. As you know, to ensure that cost isn't a barrier to residents getting the support at home they need, since 2015, we've provided home care in Hammersmith and Fulham for free. And we are still, as far as I'm aware, the only borough in the country which does that. And we're also committed to providing residents with support for independent living. And the idea is that it's not just about people being cared for, they live with greater choice and it helps them and greater control. so they can achieve their maximum potential. So what we're seeking of this report to do is to ask for your agreement with procuring a newly named home care and independent living service. And the idea is to also at the same time to improve the overall quality of care. And we set out in this report how we plan to do that with a new way of procuring. Also, it's extremely important that we focus on the attracting and keeping an excellent workforce, because we want the quality of a home care to have carers who are consistent and well-trained and regular and punctual and knowledgeable. We also want carers who feel part of the team and that they have good career progression. And this also sets out prospects for care staff with good pay and paid travel time, again, not offered in many other places in the country, and consistent training and career progression. So I hope this is building on what we're already doing, and you'll be happy to note and agree it. Are there any comments? Yes.
Again, it's a brief one. From experience, we do have some good carers. We also have ones that are not good. And what concerns me is what you're going to put in the way of monitoring, because it's no use having a whole new scheme if they're not monitored and that the proper care isn't given, because that does happen.
Absolutely. And and at the moment, they're monitored through fairly rigorous performance management, but there's also going to be in this, and you'll see with the new providers that we're looking at bringing more providers to cover smaller. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was a confidential document, but well, I'll tell you, we're bringing in, not sure it is, but we're bringing more providers to cover smaller patches each. But at the same time, we're going to be going out far more to the residents themselves who receive care and to the families and loved ones of those, and check all the time, measure all the time the quality of the care that we're providing in an even more intense way than we do at the moment. Because if you saw at our last election manifesto, improving the quality, not just maintaining free home care, which, as I say, nobody else does, but improving the quality of it is absolutely one of the key points of our manifesto. And this sets out, picking up on the points you raised, how we're going to do that.
This is a thing that comes up with me, that, you know, they come in and they don't really think. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a lack of sort of people actually thinking what they're supposed to be doing. And it is a question of training and, of course, monitoring that people realise, you know. And it's no use saying, for instance, I can give you an illustration of an Alzheimer patient I know who was, because she was kept on blowing up the microwave, they said, oh, we'll take away all her cooking facilities. Well, that's not the way to look after for somebody.
To be honest with you, it's not. I mean, I hope you shared that, by the way, with officers and haven't just kept yourself good. Thank you. I know we have the majority of the care we provide is excellent, and I'm lucky enough to see regular satisfaction criteria. Also, the quality of the reablement we provide when people discharge from hospital is absolutely outstanding and recognised as such. But there will always be occasions when it's not as good as we want. And one thing we're determined is to maintain an even spread of quality all the time. And when you have the opportunity to read the report, which I know you'll look forward to doing, you'll see how we set out, you'll see that we set out things which I hope will provide the reassurance you're seeking. Thank you. Is that noted and agreed? Thank you very much. Okay, and finally, the forward plan of key decisions. Is that noted? Good, excellent. Thank you very much. I'm just looking to see if we now have exempt elements to discuss, Katia. No, we don't. So that's the end of the meeting. Thank you all very much indeed.